everyone out there. This is Mr. V. I miss everyone. I'm hoping parents and students are doing well. But tonight I'm going to read you a little story. It's an Easter story because we have Easter coming up, and it's called The Talking Eggs. I'm going to read the story first, and then we're going to go over the pictures of the story. So let me start. I kind of tell the story while I read it, but this is a story of two sisters. Rose, who is spoiled and lazy, but it's her mother's favorite, and Blanche, who is forced to do all the work. Blanche's life is so miserable all the time. But then one day she walks in the forest and finds a witch, a very kind witch, who has these strange animals, who I'm going to tell you about when we get to the story. And they have talking eggs. Yes, talking eggs. This is an unusual and imaginative tale. It's an old folk tale passed down from generations in the deep south. So I'm going to begin. The Talking Eggs by Robert's son Souci. Pictures by Jerry Pinkney. Back in the old days, there was this farm. And on the farm, there lived a widow and her two daughters, Rose and Blanche. Rose was the oldest and Mama's favorite. She didn't have to do anything. They would sit on the porch and rock away while Blanche did all the chores. She'd shuck the corn, get the peas out of the pea pod, mop the floors, sweep all day long. She did all the chores while Mama and Rose sat on their rocking chair. Wow. Well, one morning, I guess it was around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, Rose tells Blanche, go fetch us some water. It's hot out here. And we're rocking away, and, it's tired rocking in our chairs. Go get us some water. So Rose, being the good girl that she is, got up and walked to go fetch them some water. She got to the well and started cranking the well and getting the water up. And a little old lady tapped her on the shoulder and said, Miss, pretty miss, could you give me a sip of water? It's awfully hot out here. Well, you know how good Rose is. Of course, she gave her a sip of water and another sip of water until the little lady was full and happy and smiling. Then the lady goes, young girl, you are very kind. You should be on your way and go home. So Rose picked up the 2 buckets of water, carried them back to the house. She got there and Rose touched the water and goes, this water isn't cold, it's warm now. You did a bad thing, that's terrible. And Mama drinks the water and goes, this is supposed to be cold water. What did you do all the time? And they kept yelling at her and screaming at her. And finally, Blanche couldn't take it anymore. So she ran off into the forest, crying and crying and crying. She could still hear her mother and Rose yelling at her all the way into the forest. As she got deeper in the forest, she kind of wondered, where am I? Where am I? And then all of a sudden, she felt the presence of the little lady who came around. Oh, young girl, why are you crying? Why are you crying? My mama and my sister lit into me, and they made me very, very sad. And I don't want to go home. And the old lady said, well, come with me. For one night, they won't miss you. I will give you a fine supper. Blanche kind of looked and was wondering, well, shush. But the old woman was calm and happy. Okay, I'll go with you. As they walked into the forest, the trees would come apart. And if you turned around, they would close back up. Rose was feeling Blanche was feeling a little bit nervous at this time. But then the lady said, when we get to my farm, don't laugh at my animals. Rose, Blanche said, okay, but what kind of animals are these going to be? Blanche was wondering. As they rounded the corner near the farm, lo and behold, there was a cow. But the cow had unicorns coming out of his head, and it would bray like a donkey. Yee-haw, yee-haw, yee-haw. Oh, Blanche was looking. No, I'm not going to laugh. I'm not going to laugh. And as she got closer in the barnyard, there were chickens, but they were rainbow colors, yellows and greens. Some had one leg, some had 3 legs, some had 5 legs. Wow! But she didn't laugh because the old lady told her not to laugh. They walked up to the porch and got into the house. And Blanche was wondering, well, what's going on here? She had a nice little house. The old lady said, Blanche, here, put this bone in the pot and we'll have a nice dinner tonight. Blanche in her head was wondering about the bone, but she did as she told. She put it in the pot and she started stirring the pot, and pretty soon potatoes and meat and vegetables. They had a great pot of stew and rice that night. They ate their supper, and Blanche cleaned up the dishes and sat down, and the old lady said, Blanche, I need your help for a second. So the old lady picked up her head and put it on her lap and asked Blanche, could you braid my hair and brush my hair for me tonight? Blanche thought, oh boy, it's kind of weird, but the lady was always kind, so Blanche braided her hair and combed her hair, and when she was done, the lady put her head back on. All right, and she said, come on, let's go outside. So they went outside the door, and the old lady said, come animals, come, we have a guest tonight. And pretty soon, the animals started coming out of the forest. And the old lady and Blanche, they sat down right on the stairs and watched these animals. There was rabbits with banjos and coyotes and wolves, and they were all dancing and having a good time. To Blanche, it was the best party she'd ever seen. She'd never seen so many animals having fun before together. Pretty soon, Blanche kind of was getting tired. So the old lady sent the animals away, carried Blanche and put her to bed. Blanche kind of had dreams that night, but they were happy dreams. She woke up the next morning. The old lady was ready to fix breakfast, and she told Blanche, you need to go outside there and go into the barn with all the chickens and grab some eggs for us to have for breakfast. But, okay. But the old lady told her, hey, when you get there to the chicken yard, some eggs are going to say, take me, take me, take me. And some eggs are going to say, don't take me, don't take me, don't take me. And the old lady said, only take the eggs that say take me. Don't touch the other eggs. Blanche kind of, okay, that sounds okay to me. So Blanche wandered out into the chicken yard with all those rainbow-colored chickens with legs and 1 leg and 2 legs and 3 legs. And she started looking inside the place where the eggs were. There were little plain white eggs, just like the eggs you'd find in your own store. And they were saying, take me, please, take me. Wow, she said. And then all of a sudden there were these gold and jeweled eggs. There were all the diamonds and rubies and gold and silver. And they were saying, don't take me, don't take me, don't take me. Blanche reached in there and said, golly, one of these, just one of these eggs would do wonders for me and my family, she thought. But, you know Blanche, she's a good girl. She only took the eggs and said, take me, take me, take me. They went in there, and she had like a big basket of eggs. That morning, the old lady cooked her a nice little breakfast. And she said, Blanche, it's time for you to go home. You need to go home now. And Blanche said, what, do I? Yes, it's time to go home. But I'm going to tell you a little secret. As you're walking home, throw the eggs over your shoulder, one at a time, and you will have some wonderful presents. Blanche said, well, the lady, she's never lied to me, so, okay. So Blanche started walking home. There was a trail leading to her house. Before she got there, she took an egg and threw it over her shoulder, wondering what was going to happen. Well, the egg cracked on the ground, and out of the egg came a little horse that kept growing bigger and bigger. She threw another egg, and then there was a carriage that got connected to the horse. And she threw another egg, and there was clothes, satin, really pretty shoes. She threw another egg, gold and jewel and silver. By the time she'd thrown all her eggs, she had a carriage full of wonderful things. She rode her carriage home thinking that, wow, Rose and Mama's going to be proud of me, she thought. So she rode the carriage home. Rose and Mama, whoa, Blanche, where did you get those things? Wow, they're beautiful. Oh, you're a nice daughter. Rose said, you're the best sister I ever had. And a little smile came to Rose's face. They talked into the evening. Blanche went to sleep. That's when Mama got hold of Rose and said, come here. Rose, tomorrow, go into the forest, find that old lady, and get the things that Blanche brought home and see if we could get more jewels and more clothes. Then we can go to the city. We'll leave Blanche here with her animals, but we're going to go to the city and be rich and famous. So the next morning, Rose went out into the forest. Where's this lady? Where's this old lady? Where is this? Pretty soon, the old lady appeared. And the old lady, and Rose said, "Oh, are you the old lady that helped my sister Rose?" "Yes, I am. What can I do for you? Could I get some help, please?" Rose said. The old lady said, "Well, come with me. Come with me. Come with me." So they started walking. And the old lady told Rose, "When we come to my farm, please don't laugh at my animals. They're very sensitive." Well, they got near the yard where the cow was with the twisted horns going ee-haw, ee-haw, and the donkey going moo, moo. And she started laughing so much that she almost fell on the ground laughing. And the old lady just shook her head. Then they got to the chicken yard, and Rose started, look at those stupid chickens. They got green ones and yellow ones and funny legs. And whoa, this is the funniest thing I ever had. And the old woman just shook her head. They got into the house, And the old lady said, here, put this bone in the pot and we'll have a nice stew tonight. Rose looked at that bone and said, lady, this isn't going to give us anything. If I throw it in the pot, nothing's going to happen. Well, of course, she threw it in the pot and nothing happened. So they just had bone soup that night. Rose was kind of feeling upset about that. Then she said, here's some rice, a grain of rice. Grind it up and we'll have some rice. Rose said, that's not going to be any rice. That's not enough for me. She ate the rice. The old lady just shook her head. Well, that night, Rose had to sleep with a hungry stomach. She was very hungry in the morning. And the old lady said, you know what? We're going to have some breakfast now. The old lady took her head off and put it on her lap. And Rose said, this is my chance. She grabbed the lady's head and moved it across the room and said, you tell me how my sister got all those wonderful things or you're not going to have your head back. And the old lady said, no, please, please, put me back by my body. Rose said, no, not until you tell me how my sister got all those things. The old lady said, well, go into the barn and there'll be some eggs. And some eggs are going to say, don't take me, don't take me. Don't touch those eggs. And then there's going to be other eggs that say, take me, take me, take me. Those are the eggs you should take, no more than those. And then Rose said, just to be on the safe side, she didn't even put the head back near the lady. She put it out on the porch. She got a basket and ran into that barnyard as fast as she could. She picked up, her eyes got big when she looked in them. Wow, look at these eggs. The little white ones were saying, don't take me, don't take me. While the gold and the jeweled and the silver and the ruby eggs were saying, don't take me, don't take me, don't take me. The little white eggs were saying, take me, take me, take me. But you guys know Rose. She looked in that basket and said, I'm not taking those little plain eggs. No. I'm going to take all these gold jewel eggs. And the eggs would say, no, don't take me, don't take me. But she picked up her basket and filled her basket with all these eggs. All the gold and jeweled eggs. And as she's walking out, the old lady said, don't forget, you throw them over your shoulder one at a time to get more good things. And Rose just, ha 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 ha. And Rose left. And as she was leaving, she got away a while and she said, you know what? Forget this one egg at a time. I'm going to throw them all and get all my riches. So she took the whole basket of eggs and threw them over her shoulder. Turned around to watch what would happen. The first egg broke. Snakes come crawling out. Another egg came wolves and coyotes and all these weird animals, bats, skunks. And they started chasing Rose. And Rose ran all the way home with all these animals chasing her. Hornets and bees buzzing around. And she's running, Mama, Mama, Mama. Well, Mama came out and saw this and tried to get a broom, but there was too many of them. And they chased Mama and Rose all the way through the forest for a while. Wow. Well, Blanche woke up wondering where Mama had gone. And for a couple of days she stayed out then because I guess they left me. So Blanche got her stuff and went into the forest. And then a few days later, Mama and Rose made it back to the house. And while they were there, they looked around and said, Where's Blanche and all those good things? Well, she'd left. And Blanche moved into the city and was kind to everybody, while Rose and Mama stayed in the little old house for the rest of their lives. And that's the story of the talking eggs. Now I'm going to show you some pictures of the story so that you guys can see the story. Let me get a little closer here. Well, here's a picture. You can see Blanche there doing all the chores, and Rose and Mama, they're sitting on the porch in their rocking chairs just having a grand old time. This is where Blanche meets the little old witch lady, very kind. She gives her water, and then they start walking into the forest. And this is when she brings the water back, and her Mama and Rose get really mad at her because the water's too hot. And they yell at her and they start teasing her, and yelling and screaming, and she gets sad and walks into the forest. She comes into the old lady again, and the lady says, why are you crying, young girl? And she told her how everybody was mean to her. And then they followed her, and that's when the forest would open up. And then the animals. Don't laugh, guys. Please don't laugh at our animals when I show them to you, okay? There's the cows with unicorns that go, ee-haw, ee-haw. Don't laugh. And there's the rainbow chickens with all kinds of different legs. But don't laugh. Blanche never laughed. Here, Blanche is watching her take off her head and is wondering what is going on here. But the lady was kind. She helped her, did her hair, and everything was good. And they had a nice stew that night. That evening, you can see Blanche and the old lady watching all the animals, dancing and having a good time out there. That's how Blanche fell asleep, watching the animals dance. Nice dreams. Well, the next morning, the lady told her to go take the eggs. I'm going to try to show you the eggs here. The little white eggs were saying, "Don't take me, don't take me." No, I'm sorry. The little white eggs were saying, "Take me, take me, take me." And the golden jeweled eggs were saying, "Don't take me, don't take me." And Blanche only took the little white eggs that said, "Take me." She left all the other eggs by themselves. You can see her throwing the eggs over her shoulder there. And there comes her carriage and her fancy clothes and her jewels. Oh my, what a sight. And this is when she gets home and tells Mama and her sister what happened. And that's where Mama's telling Rose, go into the forest and go find a lady and get us all these things so we can move away. Well, she meets the old lady and starts walking. But when she sees her animals, Rose is laughing and falling on the ground. And the old lady goes, oh. Here's where Rose grabs her head and takes it across the yard until she tells her how she got all those rich things. Boy, Rose is not nice. And there she is, running away with all those gold jeweled eggs that said, "Don't take me, don't take me." Well, she gets into the forest and she throws all the eggs over her shoulder. And look at all the things that come out of them. Wolves and frogs and snakes and bats and hornets and bees. And they chase Rose and Mama all the way into the forest. All the way into the forest. They came back to the house and Blanche wasn't there. Blanche had moved to the city where she was doing good and being kind to everybody. And Mama and Rose spent the rest of their life in the house. And that's the story of the talking eggs. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to try to do this once a week from now on. And, I miss all of you. Have a great Easter. Have a nice Easter break. Don't forget there will be no school next week. And this is Mr. V. Oh, the moral of the story is be kind always. Always be kind. Don't be mean. Don't treat anybody bad. If you're kind, good things will happen to you. So good night, Mr. V. I miss all of you. Signing off.